Hi, it's Stainbank here with the video that I promised you yesterday. Before we go any further, may I suggest that as you look at the YouTube video in front of you, bottom right of the YouTube screen, there's a little icon. If you hover over it, it says full screen. I would suggest you pressing on that. It's going to make it a lot easier for you to read some of the stuff on this presentation. I also must apologise for the fact that I have a bit of a cold and a slightly sore throat, so I may be occasionally stopping for a sip of water. That's another photograph of me, I'm afraid, this time in Antigua. It suddenly struck me that you may look upon some of these photographs as boastful. In other words, me boasting about my travels around the world. The truth of the matter is that I hate having my photograph taken, and the only time it does get taken is when I'm on holiday, and even then I tend to pull a funny face, which I have here. I really must get some serious stuff done. Okay, as promised yesterday, what are we going to talk about? A little about me. The word little is underlined because I've got a thing about these guys online who will go on and on and on about their life story and suffering and all that stuff, and it's just too much. I will give you a brief rundown. The big picture is in essence what I do online. How I sell stuff online. That's based on what I now know to work, and then rejecting the stuff that doesn't work, which has taken me an awful long time to discover, but I've eventually got there. And finally, more about Google Plus and SEO, search engine optimization. I know the very term fills people with dread, but in fact it's very simple, and it's closely linked to my Google Plus stuff, so I'm going to explain that, and it really isn't anything to concern yourself about at all. Okay, a little about me. I'm English. I was born in the north of England, who any English person listening to this will realise from my accent, but I've spent most of my life living in London. Currently live in West London, very close to the banks of the River Thames. Very pleasant. I spent most of my business life in the paper, stationery and print industry, but I did specialise in one thing, which was envelopes. Yes, I'm serious. When people used to ask me what I did, I would say envelopes. There'd be then a sort of stunned silence, and I would follow up with, but it's not as exciting as it sounds. In fact, what we specialised in was printing envelopes, around 18 million a month, so it was quite an operation. Anyway, while still doing that, back 2005 I think, I started to get interested in this sort of make money online lark. The idea of working from home, eventually perhaps full-time, was extremely appealing, so I got hard at work. I bought dozens of products, many of which were on kind of sale or return, not sale or return, but there was a refund if you didn't want them. I was amazed that some operations didn't sort of ban me altogether because I sent so much stuff back. But nevertheless, I still did spend a lot of money on stuff that I kept, most of which was rubbish, and even worse, a huge amount of time. So what exactly did I do? Well, I was an affiliate mainly. I'm sure you know an affiliate is simply someone that sells a product owned by someone else, and when you sell that product you earn a commission. I was an Amazon affiliate. That means you set up a website specializing in something, let's say, I don't know, refrigerators. You would have current listings of Amazon on your refrigerator site, and if someone clicked on them and went through to Amazon and bought, Amazon paid you a commission. Well, they still do that. The commissions were tiny. When I was doing it, I don't know what it is now, but when I was doing it, I think it was 4%. So you have to, sell a huge amount of stuff to justify that. I did the same thing for eBay, same kind of commission rates, and I sold on eBay. I started that by doing what everyone does, selling the unwanted stuff at home and around the office, and it all sold. I was quite amazed. Then I started buying stuff to resell. That sold. And then it sort of came to a point where I realized that if I wanted to get to the kind of level where I could make a full-time living, it would mean bulk buying stuff, storing it, having someone to look after that storage unit, someone to do the packaging, sending stuff out. I was getting myself into the sort of classic business situation again, and I didn't want that. I wanted to be a one-man band working from home with total freedom. So I decided not to continue with that. Then along came ClickBank, clickbank.com, which again you may be familiar with. This is somewhere that lists thousands of downloadable products which you can represent, sell, and when you do sell, you earn a commission. Just explain, downloadable simply means that when someone buys it, once they've paid for it, a couple of clicks, and the product is downloaded onto their computer. ClickBank's an extraordinary company. You can do extremely well with it. I also try to represent products from Commission Junction. That's what, and I think they now call themselves CJ.com. Commission Junction, similar to ClickBank, but they sell an awful lot, or they represent an awful lot more of physical products, as well as CPA offers, which I will not go into at this point. And in fact, I did an awful lot more than this. I even attempted to sell my own product and made the absolute classic mistake, which was that I created a product which I thought was wonderful and then launched it onto an unsuspecting world who didn't want it. In other words, what you don't do, and you hear people doing this all the time, they will say, oh, you know, I've come across so-and-so. I think it's absolutely wonderful. I think that would sell really well. I'm going to try selling that. You don't do that. You find out, first of all, what the market wants. Then you find a product to satisfy that demand. So that was yet another mistake I made amongst the many that I did over the years. Okay, so there came a point, and in fact I can tell you specifically, it was December 2012, after what, something like 7 years of trying. The amount of money I've made was microscopic. The nearest I came to it was when I represented a company called buycostumes.com, who I think are still around. A very, very good company indeed. They have a huge range of costumes for special occasions like Christmas, Easter, birthday parties, Christmas, and their peak time of the year was Halloween, when they sold a huge number of products. A huge number of costumes. I represented them, and at one time I had 24 websites, each specializing in a different kind of product. A lot of my sites were not only on page 1 of Google, they were number 1 on page 1 of Google. That meant a lot of traffic, that meant a lot of sales, and I was doing really well. Woke up one morning, websites gone. I mean, they weren't just not on page 1 of Google. I couldn't even discover what page they were on. They were so buried. In other words, Google had taken into its mind it didn't like my websites and what's called sandboxed them. That means Google very rarely deletes a website, if ever, but it can position them so that no one's ever going to find them. You know, they're number 10,000 on the listings or whatever. And the reason they did that was because I fell foul of a change in their algorithm. If Google algorithm, again, sounds like Chinese to you, don't worry. I'm going to explain that later on and how to avoid all those sort of problems. So whilst I wouldn't describe December 2012 exactly as a light bulb moment, it was definitely a watershed, because I decided, well, in fact, initially I decided what I should do is stop this trying to make money online lark altogether. The amount of time and effort I put into it just didn't make sense. So I came very close indeed, I mean almost a matter of hours, of just shutting everything down. And then, having calmed down somewhat, I decided that I would give it one more shot, but I now realized the things to avoid and the things that I needed. If I couldn't find these things that I needed, then I really would shut it down. So I had a kind of list, and this was the first thing on the list. I would only represent downloadable products. As I mentioned earlier on, these are products that can be downloaded with a click. In other words, you don't get involved in packaging stuff up and physically sending it through the post. Then I had to decide what market I was going to go into, and I will tell you now what are the 3 biggest markets online, and there are 3 biggies. Now, I would strongly suggest that whatever you do, you try selling within one of these three markets. Is it possible to sell stuff outside of these markets? Yes, of course it is. But, I'm a great believer in not swimming against the tide. Make life as easy for yourself as possible. These markets are proven winners. And so, I would suggest sticking to them. The first one is make money online. That's the marketplace that I am in. And I suspect that's the one that perhaps you're interested in as well. The second one is self-improvement, gigantic market. This covers every aspect of self-improvement, both physical and mental. You have people who want a six-pack, who want to lose weight, who want to look great, who want to change their mental approach to stuff. People who get anxiety attacks. People, it just goes on and on. It's a vast market. Great demand for those products. And finally, relationships. I'm sure dating sites immediately spring to your mind. In addition to that, you've got things like how to get a boyfriend, how to get a girlfriend, how to save your marriage, how to get divorced, and every other kind of relationship topic. Huge market. So as I said, I decided the make money online one was the one that interested me, so I would stick with that. And that's it. That's a point, incidentally. I would also advise you never to get involved in the market that doesn't really interest you. You will eventually get bored. You'll find it a nightmare to pursue it, and you'll just pack it in. So it's all about niches. I'm being English, I say niches. I know that in America and lots of other places it's niche. Okay, niche. You don't sell to a market, you sell to a niche or niche within that market. In other words, you would never sell. You never set up a website selling golf products. It's too vast. You would specialize in a tiny area within that market. So you must go for a niche. My niche being selling downloadable products to people in the make money online market who are interested in working from home on their own, mainly as affiliate marketers, and that's what I like to do. Right, the next criteria, quality. What do I mean by that? Well, the product that you sell must be a high quality product. This may seem obvious, but my goodness, I've seen lots of people trying to sell rubbish for one reason or another. It's beyond me. But you should never do that. If you sell poor quality items, guess what? You'll get a reputation for selling, that's right, poor quality items. Very easy to get a bad reputation on the line, and your business will fail very quickly. So quality product, and that product you must buy. Okay, if you won't buy it, how can you expect someone else to buy it? You must be passionate about the product. You must be an expert on the product. Therefore, the only way of doing that is to buy it. Sales funnel. What I mean by that is that is there a potential to sell further items to the same people? The people that buy from you are the most likely people in the future to buy further things from you. So you want to make sure that you're in a line. Let's say you were, excuse me, my bad cold. If you were, let's say, for example, in a golf niche and you were selling, I don't know, a course on how to improve your putting, do you think that further down the line those same people might be interested in a course on how to improve their golf driving? Yes, I think they probably would. So you need potential for further sales, a sort of ongoing thing. Commission level. There's some absolute rubbish talked about this. People get obsessed by percentages. They'll say, oh, you must get at least 75 commission. That's not the point. The point is, how much do you actually get physically in cash, the bottom line? That's what you should be thinking about. 75% of $100 is obviously $75. 50%, a lower commission of $1,000 is $500. So it's about what you actually earn in physical cash, not about percentages. Okay. And whilst I'm mentioning that, it may cross your mind that, well, yes, but selling a $47 product is a lot easier than selling, say, a $497 product. No, it isn't. This is something I really have discovered, that people want a product that meets the desire, the demand, the problem they've got, and within reason they're prepared to pay almost anything for it. How to sell, obviously critically important, and the easiest way for me to explain this to you is to demonstrate it, and I'll be doing that in the next video that you'll be getting in a couple of days' time. Guru or mentor. I mentioned earlier on that, you know, all the different things I tried and whatever. There was apart from the many mistakes I made, there was one common mistake that applied in every single case, and it was this. I could never get enough visitors, or traffic as is usually referred to online, to my websites. I used to think that getting 20 people a day to a website was pretty good going. I now realise that's nonsensical. You need much, much bigger numbers. It's just the same as having a shop offline. If people don't come into a shop, you don't have a business. Okay, so I wanted to find a good, incidentally that isn't my guru or mentor, but I would be interested in knowing exactly what medication that guy's on. I hate the word guru actually, so I'm looking around for a mentor. I wanted someone that, two things, not only did he have to know absolutely everything there is to know about selling stuff online, but was particularly strong in the area of traffic, because I knew by this stage that it isn't too difficult to find good products. It isn't really very difficult to set up the sort of marketing plan to sell the stuff, but you've got to have lots and lots of people checking out your offer. So I looked around for a mentor that could provide that, and fortunately I found him. So that's the big picture, and as I say, in the next video 2 days from now, I will be showing you in practical terms my operation, quite literally, you know, exactly what I do, how I get people to sign up to my list, the stuff I sell, all the rest of it, and I'll be also telling you all about my mentor and all that stuff. So I will be revealing all, as they say. That's in 2 days' time. Okay, I hope my throat's going to last out here. Okay, getting back to Google+. This was the subject of the ebook that you downloaded from me. And Google Plus really is powerful stuff. What I mean specifically is that you can produce items. They can be articles, blog posts, videos, and then just simply post them on Google Plus. Is that all I post them on? No, I send them off to a huge number of places. The idea is that you have your stuff swamping the web everywhere, kind of thing. And again, in the next video, unlike lots of other people, I will be actually telling you where I send my stuff to, quite literally giving you the list. This is information that many people doing what I do are very reluctant to do, but I will be actually giving you the physical list. Okay, now what has Google Plus got to do with what I mentioned earlier, search engine optimization and the Google algorithm? We all know that Google is the 300-pound gorilla online. I mean, look at that chap. You wouldn't mess with him, would you? And you shouldn't mess with Google, okay? There's an awful lot of rubbish talked about this. Let me try and clarify it, okay? I mentioned earlier on about my costume site suddenly disappearing. That's because I fell foul of an adjustment in Google's algorithm. It's just a very fancy way of saying it's the software that Google uses. When you fill in the search bar on the Google search page, you're looking for something, let's say, I don't know, left-handed golf clubs, you expect to go to find a page presented to you, and those items on the page are all about left-handed golf clubs. And that's what Google is obsessed about providing, understandably. So it's constantly tweaking its software, which is referred to as its algorithm, to get that more and more and more refined. It does not like sending its customers to sites that were like mine, I have to admit, covered in affiliate links, very salesy, very little information on it. It was just all about kind of selling. They don't like that kind of thing. They like lots of content, lots of original content, and above all else, stuff that is, you know, exactly in accordance with what people are looking for. So if you search for left-handed golf clubs, ideally you would come to a page of a website entitled Left-Handed Golf Clubs, and it would be all about left-handed golf clubs. Lots of information. You're going to get well ranked in the search engines for that, and that comes on to SEO, search engine optimization, which is what I really just described. And of course, there are ways of making your content, articles, videos, SEO friendly, in other words, friendly to the search engines. And in later videos, I'll be telling you exactly how to do that. But again, it's not terribly mystical. For example, let's use my example I gave earlier, left-handed golf clubs. You write an article entitled, guess what, left-handed golf clubs. That phrase is also in the title of the web page itself. You write your article. You must make sure that you don't pack the article with that keyword. But a lot of people think that's the thing to do. It's not. It's nonsense. You shouldn't have a keyword density of more than 1%. That meaning that for every 100 words of your article, your keyword phrase should only appear once, not more than once. There's more to it than that, and I will go into it later. But I simply want to point out that this stuff isn't difficult. Now, there will be people who will say, yes, but going this route is silly because to some extent you're putting your business in the hands of other people, in this case Google. In other words, if Google again changes algorithm, you might find your stuff gone. Well, two answers to that is one, that yes, that's vaguely possible, but if you play things Google's way, then they will reward you. And as I said in my ebook, you should sign up to everything that Google does, and very importantly, and it is very important, you should fill out your profile in every case, and really fill it out, not half-heartedly, fill it out and put your photograph there. You will have noticed that on my listings on page 1, my photograph is next to it. That's because my photograph is entered on Google+, and that's how it comes up online. And entries online like that have a photograph next to them get more clicks than the ones that haven't. It's been proven. In other words, you've got to play Google's game. And remember, getting traffic due to being listed on Google is free traffic. Okay, so why wouldn't you want free traffic? There is lots of other ways of getting free traffic, and I will go into them. This one just happens to be very powerful, and I will tell you about all the others as well. There is also paid traffic, which is one of the reasons that I got the mentor that I have, because he's an expert in all traffic, especially paid traffic, which I'm certainly not going to talk about here. But my view is that as free traffic is there to be had, why wouldn't you want it? You might do free traffic and paid traffic, which is what I do, in fact. But I will go into a great deal more detail, and especially when you're starting, I think you should try and keep your overheads to a minimum. And talking about that, my entire philosophy is, if you can create something for free as opposed to paying for it, why would you pay for it? And there'll be lots of examples I'll be giving you in the future. I'll be physically showing you how to do stuff online, producing very high quality stuff at zero cost, which I think you may well find interesting. Okay, so we are now getting to the end of this particular video. I just want to remind you that in a couple of days' time, you'll be receiving another video which I think you may find particularly interesting, because I'm going to show you what I do online. I'm going to reveal all, including, you know, how I circulate my content around the web, what it is I'm selling, how I sell it, the whole shooting match. And from there on, my information is going to get more and more refined. In other words, there's going to be quite a lot of how-to videos. I will show you all sorts of stuff. I won't list them now, but I think you might be jolly impressed. Anyway, thanks for watching, and I hope my sore throat doesn't sound too bad, and I will see you again in a couple of days. Bye.